Ren from Hallowed Game, and today I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite 3DS games. Let's check it out. Welcome back to another episode of Hallowed Game. Ren here, and yes, I have found once again a reason to talk about the 3DS because I freaking love it, I miss it, and it breaks my heart that we are now living in post-3DS life. Now that an ample enough time has passed, I am finding myself once again being drawn back to the ever-loving embrace of the 3DS. Potentially the last true handheld from Nintendo. You know, I love the Switch here, I love the Nintendo DS, but for some reason the 3DS has one of the most special places in my heart, arguably my all-time favorite handheld and console even. Anyways, today I just wanted to share with you the games that hold the highest and most hallowed of places in my heart. I hope you enjoy. This is by no means a definitive list. Heck, it's my own personal list, so it's very biased. Anyways, I would love to know what your favorites are down in the comments. But if you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps out the channel massively. We love to talk about JRPGs here, Nintendo, Switch, 3DS. We spread the love all around. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Number 10, Stella Glow. One of the last games I was ever able to make it to on the 3DS. This is a game that the community put on my radar for quite some time and I just delayed getting to it. Massive mistake. This is a beloved RTS, some absolutely gorgeous visuals, such an addictive and blast to play. This is just tactical role-playing fun at its finest. It has so much charm. The music is absolutely bumpin', slammin'. I love it so much, it just makes me happy to play. And really, Stella Glow is a must-play for anyone who's a fan of anime, JRPGs. This is an absolute must-play for anyone who's a fan of JRPGs, tactical role-playing games. It is just so freaking fun, and one that I think is just a great introductory to the genre in general. It's just such a shame that this is the last game from this studio. They sadly closed their doors after this release. Truly a heartbreaking tale, but what a way to go out on, just to leave a legacy of just quality behind. Stella Glow may be just at number 10, but honestly, depending on when you ask me, this one over the years may continue to rise. We will have to revisit this list in time just to make sure. Number 9, Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson. This is by no means an IGN snobby top 10 list. Look, I keep it cultured here, I keep it refined. And Senran Kagura 2 is just absolutely brimming with fan service. But on top of that, it is genuinely an absurdly fun action adventure. I mean, could you call it an RPG? I don't know. I don't even feel like getting into that argument right now. It's just freaking fun. It controls shockingly well on the 3DS. This is a game I kind of picked up for the memes and laughs when I had a reprint a couple years, gosh, has it been a couple years now? Anyways, a while back from Limited Run Games. I was so excited because I'd always heard this was good. It finally got a reprint. I was able to snag a copy, and oh my freaking gosh, this game is stupid fun. Look, are you going to have to play this game by yourself? Possibly. That's up to you. I don't know what your life choices are like. For me, though, it is just so much unadulterated fun. It's absurd. Look, yes, is it loaded with fan service? Obviously. Is it just a freaking blast, high-octane, adrenaline-fueled experience? You're gosh darn right it is, and I cannot recommend it enough to anyone who is a cultured, refined gamer. Check it out. Now we're going to class up this list quite a bit from my previous entry. At number 8, Fire Emblem Echoes. Depending on when you ask me, this and Fire Emblem Awakening are kind of fighting and dueling for this spot. I love them both so much. However, right now, Echoes is just hitting that perfect spot for me. Look, I love this story. I love the gameplay and combat. I think this is just visually the way I prefer Fire Emblem. It controls easy. I think it's a great, perfect introduction to the Fire Emblem series. And really, I think most of the Fire Emblem games on the 3DS are just quality places to start. This is absolutely one of the best, most top quality tactical RPGs on here. Sadly, it's not my favorite. We'll get to that one eventually. But I think this is just an absolutely mind-blowing entry that I find myself falling in love with more and more over the years, and quickly rising to one of my favorite Fire Emblems of all time. We might need to do a list ranking the Fire Emblem series in the future. I don't know if there's any interest in that. I've been thinking about doing that with Fire Emblem and also the, other franchises and series like SMT or Persona and whatnot. I'm not sure. If you're interested in that style of video, let me know down in the comments. Now, coming in at number 7 is Dragon Quest VIII for the 3DS. This is actually where I first played and completed the game. This is an all-time classic. It controls wonderfully on the 3DS. Once I kind of got the camera movements down and whatnot, I just kind of hit the ground running with this, and I finally got to experience what is easily one of the greatest JRPGs ever created. It is timeless. This is the absolute bedrock and foundation stone for all turn-based JRPGs. For all turn-based RPGs, Dragon Quest VIII is essentially the Rosetta Stone for what I think everybody in their mind pictures turn-based games to be, or how they should be. And really, I can't argue with that. I mean, this is an absolutely eternal game. It will always be good, and it's always a great time to come back to. It is so charming. The characters are some of the best and most iconic in gaming to me, and I love it. I love coming back to it. It's just comfort food gaming that is high quality on the 3DS, and I can just find myself losing hours and hours away revisiting it. I cannot recommend it enough. It is a gorgeous port on the 3DS, and just kind of shows the potential the 3DS had to take this PS2 era game. Wonderful quality of life features coming up to this to where you can see characters on the field. Freaking love that. Can't recommend it enough. At number 6, Kirby Planet Robobot. You're gosh darn right it's freaking on this list. Oh my lord. Look, I would never have pegged myself as a Kirby fan, but let me freaking tell you, Kirby Planet Robobot is one of the best 3DS games, and depending on when you ask me, it might even be higher on this list. Look, if you're into the 3D gimmick, for lack of a better word, of what the 3DS can do, then really Kirby Planet Robobot is at the freaking top of the list of just a showcase of just what Nintendo could really pull off with just the depth of field. Really, it's cute. Me and my son love this game. I mean, honestly, I think that it's kind of up in the air right now which he's enjoying more, Kirby games or Mario games. We're constantly going back and forth, but this is just a wonderful time for the family. Are Kirby games easy? Yes, but they're also a lot of freaking fun and just absolute timeless memories I've created with my son playing this game. We love it, and I can't recommend any families out there to give this game a shot with your family. Number 5. Devil Survivor 2. Now, without a doubt, my favorite tactical RPGs are the Devil Survivor games. Look, if we want to be technical and really try to pin me down, I'm going to put 1 and 2 on the same level at the 3DS. I love them both so much, but for gameplay reasons and quality life features alone, I would put 2 over 1. I love the way these games play. Now, story-wise, if you're really into dark or dire games, then absolutely hop into 1. I think it's one of the best and creepiest games I've ever played for multiple reasons I've talked about in previous videos. However, from a gameplay perspective, Devil Survivor 2 is what I want. From party building, crafting and honing your team through fusions or maybe the auction house system, it's really unique to within the entire SMT series alone. But this team crushed it, and being able to merge kind of a tactical role-playing game with the SMT Persona party building aspects of it. I love all the characters in this. Devil Survivor 2 is a much more light-hearted game, kind of, than the first entry. However, it still has a lot of dark moments in it. However, it's just not quite as edgy and creepy as the first game. However, that said, freaking fun to play. The replay value, multiple endings, it's through the roof. I cannot recommend these games enough. I freaking love it. And it's honestly a crying shame, a crime against nature that we haven't had the 3rd entry come out. I mean, I hope they haven't abandoned the series. But with Soul Hackers 2 flopping pretty hard, I do wonder what Atlus's plans are for the future for kind of ancillary, older SMT games. Anyways, I hope we haven't seen the end of it. I freaking love these. They need to be ported to the Switch, where I think they would find a whole new life. I love the art, characters, everything from this hits on all marks for me. I can't recommend them enough. Number 4, Metroid Samus Returns. I mean, you knew it had to be on here. I can't get enough of Samus. I love the Metroid series, and I honestly feel a little dirty putting this at number 4, but I just have to be true to myself. Look, I love RPGs, JRPGs. That said, though, Metroidvania has such a special place in my heart, and Samus in this entry is just so freaking cool. Look, in the beginning of the game, I think a lot of people got turned off by the counter mechanic. as you progress through the game, that definitely eases up and becomes much more fluid. And if you've played Metroid Dread on the Nintendo Switch, if you have access to a 3DS or any other means to play this game, that's between you and yourself, you know what I'm saying? You should absolutely give this game a try. It is just absolute quality, freaking hard game towards the end. I mean, I don't know if that's a controversial statement, but the true end boss of this game, I mean, yeah, it brings the heat. I'm just going to leave it there. So freaking cool. Samus's design, just the power upgrades. I mean, I can't get enough. I love this. The boss fights are so unique. And really, again, if you're into the 3D effect on the 3DS, look, Nintendo knew what they were doing with their own games. And it's gorgeous. I usually just turn it on like the lowest setting, just get a little bit of feel, get a little spice, not too much. But yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a reimagining of Metroid 2. And I think it lands. At times, you know, as history goes on, I think people tend to rewrite how games were initially received. There was a lot of kind of internet fighting about this game when it came out. However, I can just, from my point of view, I love Metroid, Super Metroid. This game's awesome. Totally worth playing. Number 3, 7th Dragon 3 Code VFD. I'm going to be real with you all. One of my biggest life regrets is waiting till almost the absolute end of the 3DS's life cycle to play this game. Sega, I have no sway with you. I barely have any contact with Atlas. However, if there is just a glimmer of hope, if there is somebody, some person, influencer, I don't care who you are, if you see this game and you have any way to contact Sega or Atlas, for the love of God, do the world the biggest favor in the world and achieve the biggest W ever and tell them to continue this series. Sweet Lord in heaven, 7th Dragon is absurdly good. It needs to be bigger. It should be one of the big main staples of Sega and Atlas. It frickin' slams. Character designs through the frickin' roof. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. One man, one artist shouldn't have that much power. It's not natural. However, he does, and we should celebrate it. But on top of that, you have this glorious character building atmosphere, character building with your parties to be able to choose, you know, what they look like, what their classes are. It sounds overwhelming. It's not. Every class is just very introductory friendly, offers a lot of growth and potential and depth. You know, if you're looking for a harder challenge, this game can bring it with some of those difficulty settings. Like, whoa. But anyways, though, I love this game, and it's a crime that this game slipped under the radar for me and so many other people. And people who've played this game are a little crazy about it. I'll admit, they give off a crazy vibe. But if you've played this game, you understand. It makes you crazy that this isn't a bigger deal. 7th Dragon 3 Code VFD needs to come to Switch so other people can experience how frickin' bangin' this game is. I love it. Music slaps. The game slaps. The premise, the story, all of it's just great. It's JRPG perfection. I love it. It needs to come back. Now, coming in at the number 2 slot, we have SMT4 and Apocalypse. I know a lot of people get a little mad at me when I kind of double up these series. I'm going to cheat here, okay? Because in my heart, SMT4 is the zenith of the SMT series from like a story perception. And just the way it kind of executes a lot of the elements. I think it's like peak SMT for me personally. And I would say a lot of the fan base kind of view SMT4 in that light. Not so with Apocalypse. It's a pretty big tonal shift. It lightens the mood, to say it lightly. And but from a gameplay perspective, Apocalypse, it's right up there with SMT5 for me. Just the way it kind of balances characters and whatnot. It's amazing. And I love these games both so much. I would replay Apocalypse more just because it kind of eases up on some of the, and gives a little bit of quality of life that I think in 4 is maybe not there. I'm not saying Apocalypse is better. SMT4 baseline, it has everything I want from story, everything from characters. Some of those bosses, I mean, Minotaur to me is one of the most iconic monsters in all of gaming. It's just, it's coolness all around. It just barely misses the number 1 slot for me. I love these games so much, and to me, they are must-play gaming for the 3DS. It's kind of like my barometer when somebody's talking to me, if like their opinion on the games is kind of like where I'm at, because, you know, it's just like a foundation stone game for me, just the way it plays and executes. I love it. Running around in kind of that PS1 like 3D-ish graphics. It's so freaking good. Exploring in this game. Honestly, I kind of want to go back and replay it now. SMT4, the GOAT. Now coming in at the #1 slot, which will come as no surprise for longtime viewers of the channel, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. I'm sorry, I know this is a port, kind of a enhanced port of a DS game. I don't care. I played it first on the 3DS, and to me, peak Radiant Historia is on the 3DS. I love this game. Everything about it is perfection to me. This is in my top 5 favorite games of all time. From a story perspective, this game rendered me to, I mean, just absolute shambles. The father in me was just sucker punched. It hit me right in the feels. I love it so much. Stock to me is one of my favorite, actually, yeah, still my favorite hero in all of JRPGs. I love him so much. Such a smart, cool, level-headed protagonist. Breaks a lot of anime tropes. But on top of that, you just have such a lovable cast and one of the most unique. I've personally never played another game with a battle system like Radiant Historia. Endlessly fun. From the tutorial fight all the way to the true end boss fight for Perfect Chronology, the combat was fun and engaging to me. You know, it's one of those games that it makes you feel smarter than you actually are, which I always appreciate. I love this game so much. Everything about it to me is just a renaissance of just nostalgia and love, and everything that just has drawn me to this genre is embodied in Radiant Historia, and I can't recommend it enough. To me, it is everything that I love about Super Nintendo RPGs with the love, care, and attention that I can play on the 3DS. I love it. I can't recommend it enough, and it's my favorite 3DS game. And with that, those are my top 10 favorite 3DS games. A lot of RPGs, obviously, that's kind of my wheelhouse, but I would love to know, what are your favorite 3DS games? Please let me know down in the comments. I love seeing the kind of variety of answers from the community. It's always fun. I usually learn about something, so I'm excited to see if there's a game out there I hadn't thought of or haven't heard of before. I cannot wait to hear yours. There's so many other games I would love to put on this list, like Liberation Maiden, Nano Assault. It's tough narrowing it down to 10. But please share yours down in the comments. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe for more 3DS content. We'll keep the flame alive here on the Hallowed Be Thy Game channel. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.